Okay, well, I'm gonna stay here in case anyone else pops in, but feel free to pop out if you got your questions answered, and stick around if you want to ask them in a more in a smaller, more intimate space.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Emma. Hi, Jasmine. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Oh my goodness, Jasmine, the
How
sun
you
is
doing?
shining on your face. It looks so good.
Oh, thanks. The sun is not actually out. It's
Really?
cloudy here.
Oh my
Chicago,
goodness.
yeah.
Well, you got the I
Uh,
don't know where you found the sunshine because it is surely shining on you right now.
Thank you.
Okay, well,
So,
my
must be a
internet is
reflection.
going in and out, so I'm sorry if I'm on a delay.
No problem.
I can go
I'm
over
gonna head in. real quick.
okay. I'm gonna go over the project just a little bit, and then I'll open it up if you have any questions for me.
Okay. Sounds
Okay.
good.
So the project really is about finding the opportunity to create a better community. And that opportunity might exist within a school community, might exist within your larger community. Normally, when students took this class, they were connected to a school placement. And so it was easier to have it exist within the school, and students often helped out. I've had students do like food drives, and the kids brought in food for the food drive, and then they donated, partnered with a pantry and donated it. I've also had a student collect things for military personnel overseas and partnered with an organization that would ship that material to them, and the school got involved
Oh,
virtually now that it's been a bit more difficult to do those things. So I've had a lot more students doing um, like social media campaigns. Last term, I had a student doing where she created a kind of a diversity council for her kids' school system, and she used social media as a platform to gather parents and have discussions about diversity awareness, social issues in the landscape that we were in. I also had I had a student last term who organized a community cleanup via social media. I had another student who saw that her community just didn't have connect wasn't as connected as it once was, and so she partnered with an alder person and my hood, my city, and just organized a get together. And she's now going to be doing that annually because the event was such a success. So really, it's about first seeing what are the great things that already exist within the community, and then looking at what that community needs. What
yeah.
else could you add to that landscape? In and maybe it's just a one shot thing, but maybe it's something that lives on even after this after this term ends or this class ends, that would be beneficial to the community because we know that schools are in communities, and when communities thrive, schools thrive, and that there is a absolute connection between schools and communities. So really, that's the goal of the project, to do something for the good of the community that works in partnership with, if you wanted it to work in partnership with schools, fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too, because we know that it is difficult right now to connect in school spaces because of the pandemic. So really, that's the goal of the project. And I've had people work together. Next week, I'll ask you to do some videos and start brainstorming some ideas. And hopefully, some of you will say, "Oh, that's what I was thinking about doing," and you can group up and maybe even link with other people who are like-minded and have the same goals. So are there any questions you had, Jasmine?
Um,
Or Isabel, you can jump in too if you have questions. I'm sorry, I don't mean to ignore you.
mm, I was, did you see what I was thinking about doing with the garbages? Picking up garbage.
No, but that's actually I had a student do that before. Her struggle, and so I'll share with you, her struggle was getting getting enough people involved. Like what I would hope is that the hope of this is also that you make partnerships and that you collaborate. So we've learned that in this course already that even to impact poverty, you need to collaborate. In order to impact things on an educational level, you need to be able to collaborate. So part of this is the tenet of collaboration, and she struggled to get that collaboration. So she was out doing a lot of it herself. And I would
Oh,
hope, I would just say, think about that, how you're going to promote that, how you're going to get people to buy into it in doing that.
okay.
So, what community was it, Jasmine?
Well, I live in Humboldt Park,
Okay.
but yeah.
So
So I
thinking
live in Humboldt.
about just even connecting, like she went and talked to her alder person. She went in there. Part of the asset map was like thinking of organizations within the community and maybe even just calling some of those organizations and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Would you be interested in, or do you have a volunteer base that might be able to help? I think
Okay.
is a good way to start too. This is not just a project of one. You really want it to be something that impacts a number of people.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think I have any more questions right now.
Okay, okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right, good talking to you. Good seeing some faces too. Put some
Yes,
faces to
good
some
to see
names.
yours. Okay, have a good one.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Isabel, did you have a question?
Hi, yes, I sort of struggled with the map assets assignment because I couldn't really like somebody else mentioned I didn't know where to find the information to find these assets, and then I don't really have an idea so far. I'm thinking a lot about my daughter's preschool center that she attends. Recently, there was an issue about using certain books to speak about the theme of trees, and I wasn't okay with the author that they chose because they wanted to do like a play for the children. Um, so I thought
What was
about it.
your issue with the author?
Dr. Seuss, so they wanted to do the Lorax, and because it's a predominantly Latino community, I did try to include like I try to give them options for other books, but I guess because of the pandemic and everything's going on, they kind of just wanted to make something simple and get it out of the way.
But that's harmful for kids if we know
Yes,
the history of Dr. Seuss.
yes, and that's what I thought. But then I didn't really give in, like I didn't bring in more input. So the point is that it happened, and now that I'm thinking about it is that I realize that the school, although it's like very culturally rich, like because of the community it's in, I do realize that a lot of like the kids literature they have is not really culturally representative, and it's not diverse. A lot of times they don't have like Spanish options for parents, and I do realize that a lot of the parents there are like only Spanish speakers or predominantly Spanish speakers. So that's sort of my idea, but I just don't know what approach to take with it.
Oh, Isabella, I love this approach. And it's actually like you're like talking to like the right person because this is like my wheelhouse. So it would be great even if you could kind of create a campaign and even solicit other parents to give them options. So what I heard you say is that because they were overwhelmed, and I understand it's in teaching, like you're like, we just need to get this lesson out. We don't have time to change anything,
Right.
but giving them options, so maybe even something, whether it's a presentation or whatever, that gives them. So okay, maybe you're thinking about using this text. Maybe use this text instead, and giving the teachers and the school systems different options, and maybe even showing them why it's harmful. So maybe your project, maybe your virtual service learning
Right, because
project.
I did try to tell them. Right, because I did try to tell them and give them some information, share some links as to why I just didn't want to use Dr. Seuss because it was part of a program for it was part of an activity for the parent committee actually. Um, and then being honest, I don't have a lot of like Latino Latino authors or like just in general culturally representative books that I know about. So I did a little digging. I didn't really look into it.
Oh,
Um,
I can give you the resources.
yes, that would be great.
Okay, I can give you resources. And what about like, so maybe it's gathering up, because again, it's about collaboration. Maybe
Right.
it's developing kind of a parent council or a parent group that is going to just kind of talk about what books they would like to see. So maybe it's not you just doing all the work. Maybe
Okay.
it's a group of parents. And then it is about, it's not just coming from you, it's coming from a bigger group of parents. And then the school might be more receptive.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because that's sort of what I wanted to focus on. I did see on one of the resources in the module that there was information about, I think a student did a PowerPoint about books, but
Yeah.
I wanted to focus more like on the language aspect and like being culturally representative with these books.
Yeah, I'm looking up, I'm still listening, but I'm looking at, there's a site that has all these award winning uh Latinx children's books.
Okay.
And I'm trying to, there it is. I'm gonna drop it in the chat for you, because being culturally responsive and Isabel, we just adopted standards for the state of Illinois. So programs around the state, and maybe not as young as preschool, but um, schools are going to have to start adopting and using culturally relevant um, standards and pedagogy. And so it's important that places are educated about what that means, and also why. I think people don't understand the why. Why is Dr. Seuss harmful? Like, why, people just, oh, we've done it for years, but not understanding the underlining why. Like, zoo animals are representative of people in some of his books, and he has racialized undertones. And even though those might not be overtly communicated, and sometimes they are overtly communicated in the book, we still need to understand what we're communicating, especially when we're talking to non-white students who could be potentially victimized by the book.
Right. Well, yeah, that's my thing. I just wanted to see if I don't know if there's such a thing like as a book drive or something I could do just to
That
include
would
more
be
books
awesome too.
and have like parents participate and bring in like, books or stories or poems that they have from like their culture that they brought from their home countries.
Oh my
Um,
God, Isabel, that would be amazing.
okay. All right. Yeah, well, that's sort of, I just didn't know how to really approach it. And I was like, let me see if I can get some like feedback.
Okay, well, if you ever need any help with that, let me know, because that's like the thing that I love most. So I'm excited about even that prospect.
Okay. Well, sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi,
Bye-bye.
Nina.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Did you have any questions about the project?
I was just a little confused about because like I like shared it with you because it went like when I opened the document, it went through like Google that,
Hmm.
and when I submitted, I shared it with you. But for some reason, I got your
Yeah, it
like
didn't come across as a Google Doc. It came across as that other one.
oh,
Let
okay.
me let me look. Let me just make sure though, Nina, 'cause- sorry, my computer is being a bit slow.
It's okay.
Wow, it's not responding at all. Okay, here we go. Let me see. So tell me about the community that you chose, though, overall, and kind of what you found were the assets and what you found as the areas of challenge.
Let me just pull up. Sorry, just the computer is really slow.
Mine too. This is really.
So my understanding is, I'm not like quite sure 100%, is like to choose a community that I can serve in and help out. Is that what?
No, it's a little different than that. Let me pull up your. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you really quick since we're the only ones in here, so you
Okay.
can see what I got. So this is the document that pulled up, but the
Oh,
document that I put in D2L was a little different.
because when I opened it, this is the only thing that came up when I downloaded it.
Okay, so let me show you in the. If you go to assignments and click here,
Uh-huh.
this you should pop up with something. This is actually what I wanted you all to complete out. Why is this not? It'll ask you to make a copy. You'll click copy. And
Mhm.
actually, this is the document that should. And so you didn't see this one in your assignment, like it's in my.
No, because like I opened it and I just downloaded what, like, the link. I didn't see this. Like clicked on one thing and it just downloaded for me.
Hmm,
When it opened like another dot, and that's what I
okay.
filled out.
So this is the actual one. This is the
Oh,
updated one. And it kind
okay.
of it's what I like about it better is it kind of really walks you through and gives you more details in order to complete the asset map um, more fully.
Okay, I see. I'm sorry. I
That's
some
okay. Nope. And and in my response to you, I just put the link in and told you just let me know when you completed it and
okay.
I can
I'll
relook at it.
just, yeah, I'll just complete it today. Cause like I was confused, I just filled out that thing and I was like, I'm not sure if I need to do like any service.
Yeah. So it is. So really the goal of that asset map is for you to start really thinking about what the benefits are in the community, what are the great things that already exist within this community, and then to start thinking, well, what are some of the challenges? So all communities have strengths, all communities have challenges, and to start thinking about how you might be able to, in the virtual service learning environment, tackle one of those challenges. Of course, we're talking about in small ways. I'm not asking you all to create something that's going to last forever, but just to think about, okay, how might I impact the community in a way based on one of the challenges that has arisen from all the research that you did?
Okay. So any service will be and like it has to be like in Chicago because
It,
I live.
it has to be in Chicago. So thinking about, let me just give you some examples of some other people that were on the call. So you heard Isabella and I talking about the fact that her school, she wants to drill it down even. Some people are doing it as a larger community, like Chicagoland area, their town. Some people are going as localized as a school. And so Isabella thought, my school doesn't have a lot of culturally responsive books. Maybe I'll do a book drive, or and some education. Um, Another student talked about what she learned is that the students at her son's school are really stressed. And so she's thinking about a social media campaign to help alleviate the stress and to educate people about the stress that young people are under, especially during this pandemic. I've had people do healthy food drives. I've
Yeah.
had people organize community cleanups. I have had people create a care closet where they have lived worked in a school where the needs are so great that kids need shampoo, they need clothes, and they've created this closet where they can just automatically go and get those things. I've had students help homeless people. There were a lot of people last term because of COVID. One of the things that we found was that a lot of homeless people are not getting their needs met because there aren't a lot of people out anymore that would give and participate uh,
Yeah.
with them in that way. So I had a lot of people. And Nina, next week I'm going to open it up. You guys are going to have to do a video talking about just brainstorming and what you're thinking about doing. And I'm going to open it up. So if you all want to group up, if some of you are having similar ideas, maybe you can work together to create it.
Okay, great. I kind of have a better understanding now because like I do help out in the service for like due to COVID.
Hmm.
We get like, we do food, we provide like food, and then they just drive to our like where the center is, and we just give like boxes
Hmm.
of food that
Well,
has
maybe
like
even
a
thinking
lot of.
about how to expand that a little bit, because part of the project too is, and I'm going to be doing a video this week to kind of help you guys see the larger vision. Like, how can I collaborate with other organizations within the community to to help make it better? So if your community already has something like that, maybe it's to partner with someone else that could bring another element to it and make it better based on what you saw in your asset map.
Yeah, because I was thinking that, I'm not sure, but I was thinking that since we provide food, the next thing like I want to work on is to provide like collect some like baby like stuff like
Yeah,
diapers, other things that like kids need, because it's just food that we have. But
yeah,
I'm looking for like extend it to like collect other things that little kids need.
absolutely. Absolutely. And we know that times are hard right now. So families are and those things are expensive. So those things might not be readily provided.
Okay, great. So I can work on that, right?
Absolutely. I would just ask that make sure that that's a need. Sometimes we think that we are filling needs, but just thinking about after you complete that asset map, and if you still see like, oh yeah, this is clearly a need, like I'm seeing this from the research that I'm doing, then go for it. A lot of times we'll think that we're filling a need, but the research tells us that it really isn't a need. So I had a number of students last term who wanted to do homelessness. And I'm like, but if I look at the statistics in your community, there are not a lot of homeless people.
Yeah.
So you might think that that's a need, but the community is telling you otherwise, that it has other greater needs. So I would just ask that just make sure that you're mindful of that, that you are filling a need that exists and not one that you think exists.
Okay. Sounds great. Okay. I'll do finish this so I can submit it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I apologize one more time
No,
about that.
you don't have to apologize if it downloaded for you. And I had a couple of other people do that. So that's why I just said, please, and I put a grade in so that it's a placeholder, but please just know that as soon as you send that email to me, I'll grade it and get that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Bye bye.